Hi, and welcome to another Miscellaneous Monday. Today we've got a topic that you're really gonna love. Well, maybe not love, but it's a topic that you need to learn. It's about writing. Now, many of you are saying, I hate writing. But if you're in the business field, if you're working in the workforce, chances are good you're going to be writing something or another for the rest of your life. So it's a good idea to become a good writer. It's a good idea to spend some time, learn the skill of writing. And when you learn the skill and you can do it well, it's easier than not having the skill and doing it poorly. Then you will start to like it. You will start to enjoy it. You'll be able to do it quickly and effectively, and then it becomes less of a burden and a chore. So watch the entire video. I give you some extra tips at the end, and click on the link below if you want to get the cheat sheet that accompanies this video. Hi, today I want to talk to you about a subject you probably don't want to hear about: writing. When I start my writing classes in English, I always ask my students, how many of you like writing? Out of a group of 20, I might get one student that puts their hand up and says, I kind of like it sometimes. For most of us, writing is the hardest thing to learn in English. Why? Well, it's the thing that we learn to hate the most. What did we get the most of in English class? Writing assignments. And did we like doing them? No, we'd go home, have a drink, and then think about it, and then do something else, and then do something else, and kind of plow away at the writing and do it as slow as we could. And then we were told by our teacher, hey, this essay needs to be 200 words or 300 words. And what do? We'd write until we got to 200 or 300 words, however many words the teacher requested. And that we thought was writing. Well, let me tell you something. That is not writing. Well, at least it's not effective writing. Let me give you a bit of background on my writing. I still write, and I've written four books on presentation, one book on how to do business importing from Hong Kong. And I did all those books very, very quickly. The book on presentation I did in 1999, 3D presentation system, is 192 pages. I wrote that book in less than 2 weeks. And I had a good coach from America. I won't tell you what her name is, but she sent me a letter. At that time we didn't have email. She sent me a letter and she said, lock yourself up for 2 weeks and write your book. Don't poke at it 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day. Just get to it. 1 chapter a day for 12 days and give yourself 2 days to review the book, and you're done. So writing fast is one of the keys to effective writing. But let me go ahead and give you some real tips and real advice on how to improve your writing skills. Some of us, like myself, were very lucky to have a very good teacher, a good English teacher who taught us how to write properly. I was one of those people. When I lived in Canada, I went to a little school for junior high school. That's Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. And I had the good fortune of having an English teacher. Her name was Gertrude Trapp. And she was probably the best writing teacher anyone could ever ask for. In October of the Form 2, she announced to the class that she was going to do what she does every year, was no other classes, no geography, no history, no math, no biology, no chemistry, no nothing except writing, English writing. We were going to learn how to write morning and afternoon for 2 whole months. That's all we were going to do for 2 months. And she had rearranged the schedule so that the rest of the year we didn't have English classes, but we had to take this writing course. And we were horrified. We were petrified that we had to suffer through these 2 months of writing. So in the morning we would write, in the afternoon we would learn to edit what we wrote in the morning. 5 days a week for 2 months. Well, it paid off. She advised us, she said, no one's going to teach you this when you get to Form 4. And no one's going to teach you this when you get to university. You better learn it now. And we were lucky. We listened to her advice. We studied, we practiced, we wrote, we edited, we wrote, we edited, until we were sick of it. Well, long story short, when I got to Form 4, was another high school with 1,200 students. Six of her students, we were all in the same class. We were asked to write an essay. When we passed in our essay, the next day, the teacher said, you and you and you and you and you stay after school. Well, it was the 6 students that took writing classes from Miss Tratt. The teacher wanted to know, why is your writing so much better than all the other students? And we all looked at each other and said, we just learned how to write. She said, what school did you go to? And we said, we went to Tower Road School. And then she said, oh, I've talked to the other teachers. We know about, you had a teacher named Miss Tratt. She spent 2 months teaching you how to write. That's why your writing is so good. We were like amazed that our writing was so much better than all the other students. And it showed. She said, you know, it's very obvious that you've taken writing lessons because you write clearly, you write effectively, and you really know how to write. So let me give you my lessons that I learned from Miss Tratt from Form 2 that have served me for over 45 years. I've written books, I've written articles, I write them very quickly, I edit them very fast, not because I'm smart, not because I'm clever, but because I had good foundation in English writing from Miss Tratt. Thank you, Miss Tratt. You're in the next world, but thank you for eternity, for teaching us, and all your students will thank you forever. And here are the lessons that Miss Tratt taught us, and these are lessons you can use to improve your writing skills. I call this How to Write with Power. P-O-W-E-R. How to write with power. When you learn to write with power, you will write more quickly, you will write more easily, and definitely more effectively. People actually want to read what you write. Writing is a process. Most of us think writing. Get a piece of paper and start writing. That's the biggest mistake. To be an effective writer, you need to follow 5 steps. It's a 5-step process. P-O-W-E-R. This is the power formula. What's your purpose? What's your outline? Then you write. Then you edit. And finally, you revise. Editing and revising are not the same, and I will give you clarification about that a little later. Let's begin with the P. P is for purpose. 3 questions you need to ask yourself about the purpose. Why are you writing this? Why are you writing this article? Why are you writing this paper? Well, if you're writing for school, of course it's to please the teacher. But if you're writing for work, you're not writing to please someone. You're writing to communicate a message. You're writing to give information. So you're not writing to please someone. You're writing to communicate. And what are you trying to communicate? Learn to write from the reader's viewpoint, so you don't always say I, me. You try to look at things from the reader's viewpoint so they can understand what you want to say. And finally, focus on the content. So again, the bad habit you probably got in school is to write long sentences. Long sentences are not necessarily effective sentences, so focus on the content. What's the main point of what you're writing? Write that down first, and then write around that. Who are your readers? Are they your supervisors? Are they trainees? Are they managers? Are they your assistants? Are they technicians, employees, other employees in your company, and others? So when you know who your readers are going to be, you can change the tone of your language and your viewpoint and your vocabulary to suit these readers. What is your purpose? Is your purpose to inform? Is it to persuade? Is it to complain? Is it to appreciate? Maybe it's to request, like asking for information. Maybe you want to suggest or recommend something, a line of action. Or it's just to explain or clarify a previous message or something you've written. What is the content? What information do your readers want? Okay? So again, this is a lesson in brevity. Learn to be brief. People are very busy. You don't want to have a lot of chatter in your writing. You want to get to the point. Will your readers understand technical terms? So if you're talking about computers and technology or finance and accounting, and people don't have these background information, you don't use all the jargon. You have to get rid of the technical terms and use plain, simple English. And would examples, details, or graphics help readers understand better? Outline, the O in power. There are 5 formulas you can use to outline. P, L, O, T, S. These are plots. Plots are outlines. There are 5 you need to know. You choose the one that's suitable and appropriate for what you're writing. In business, the most common is P, problem, solution. So even when your manager has asked you to write a proposal, basically he's asked you to solve a problem. Now, if you want to get your proposal accepted quickly, don't give one solution. Give 3. And you say, that's a lot of work. It doesn't have to be. What you need to do is write down problem, solution, A. And then you find something wrong with that solution. So you say, this is a very good solution, but it costs too much money. It's very expensive. Solution B is a good solution, but we have to use a lot of human resources, a lot of manpower to finish this solution. And then you take solution A, solution B, and you put the 2 together and you say, by combining the 2 together, we do not need to spend so much money and we do not need to use so much human resources. But still, we will solve the problem with a good result. If you propose like this with 3 solutions, guaranteed your manager will accept it. He won't come back to you and say, think some more. List. I put this down as an outline, but it's probably the worst type of outline. This is what most of us do in our writing. We list a bunch of things down and then we say, there you go, that's my writing. And it's not really effective. It doesn't solve problems. It doesn't present a case. So you're just listing the facts, you're listing the ideas, there's no conclusion. It's a very weak form of outline. I don't advise it. Operation. So this is a how-to sheet. So for example, how to run a photocopier, proper procedure, how to get an ID card. Any of things like this in the sheet or in a booklet is what we call operation outline. A time outline, very common when you're talking about current situations. So the time outline is very simple. Past, present, and future. In the past, we've done this. Now we're doing this. And in the future, we will probably do this. Very easy outline. And space. We have small space and big space. So small space, we go from the economy in Macau to the economy in Asia. Then we go to the economy of the world. We have big space, which is the economy of the world, the economy of Asia, and then we come down to the economy of Macau. So space is generally like that. Also, we have interior or exterior, like a car. We talk about the exterior of a car, the space, and then the interior of a car, the space. So that's a space outline. So these are the 5 outlines: problem solution, list, operation, time, and space. Now we get to the part that you're most familiar with. Write. So when someone says write, this is what we generally think about. Writing. Begin writing your ideas. My advice is, before you write your ideas, create an outline. It's very simple. Miss Tratt taught us to take a piece of paper, you can use recycled paper, and tear it up into 16 pieces and make stacks of these pieces of paper. And you begin by writing ideas on the pieces of paper. It can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be a sentence. And you don't think about complete sentences. You're just trying to put your ideas on the paper. And then you can create little piles of ideas. And you'll see that certain ideas connect better with other ideas. And then the biggest stack is where you write from. with that stack of 5 to 6 ideas, you can generally create your outline. Makes your writing really fast. The outline, if you spend 2 or 3 minutes making the outline, the writing is just easy because you're just filling in the blanks. Do not stop to edit. Now, if you're a second language English learner, my guess is you always use a dictionary because you want to look up a word and back and forth, back and forth. 2 suggestions. 1, use an English to English dictionary, not an English to native language dictionary. And secondly, write down the word in your native language as you're writing, and then keep writing. Don't stop and look it up in the dictionary and then start your writing again. This follows the principle of do not stop to edit. So try to keep writing as fast as you can. Pretend your pen or pencil is stuck to the piece of paper. This is a trick Miss Tratt taught us. Pretend you have a magnet stuck on the pen or tip, and it's stuck to your paper. You cannot get it off the paper until you finish. So your pen is glued to the paper. You just keep writing and writing and writing until you finish. Give reasons and examples. So here you're expanding your ideas. And then later, this is important, later reread your writing and fill in the weak spots. And here's another tip. Actually, it's been discovered that people can write faster on pen and paper than on a computer. A lot of novel writers still use pen and paper. They don't use a computer to write. Although in the office we think, well, I have a computer, I should write on the computer. In fact, writing on pen and paper, maybe it's not so environmentally friendly, but it's much more efficient and effective. Edit. So you need to check the structure. Is your beginning, do you have a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion? Does everything follow in a logical sequence? Can you move the sentences around so that they make more sense? This is where a computer is handy because you can move whole sentences and whole paragraphs around in what you're writing and then create a much better structure. Do you have an introduction? This is the thing that separates good writers from excellent writers. If you know how to use transitions, you will become an excellent writer. And there's only 50 transitions in English. If you know them and you know how to use them, you can really become an excellent writer. Paragraphing. Are you mixing your paragraphs? Long paragraphs, short paragraphs, yes, even one-word sentences and one-word paragraphs. It breaks up the reading for the reader because you're thinking for the reader. And development of points. Are your ideas logical and in a correct order? And finally, do you have a conclusion? The worst thing you can have in the writing is to say something like, and that's all I have to say. There's no conclusion. So be sure you have a conclusion. If you're really smart, you can do like we said before, write the conclusion first. What's your main idea? Write that down first before you even write a single word of the introduction or the body. And finally, revise. Rearrange the order, check the grammar, and we're going to give you some tools that will help you do that. You don't have to use a grammar book, and you don't have to rely on your grammar. Clarify and simplify. And what this means is, if you have a choice of a long word or a short word, use the short word. Short words are easy to understand, makes reading a lot faster. If you're trying to practice your vocabulary to show how smart you are, this is not the place to do it, because then people have to look at a dictionary, stops their reading, and then they still may not understand what you wrote. Short and simple words are clearer and simpler to read and understand. And add a meaningful statement to the end and a call to action. What do you want the person to do after they read what you've written and after they've read it? Here are some tech tools that are very useful in writing. Check your grammar with either one of these tools. Both are very good. Grammarly or Gingersoft. Save time thinking about grammar. Use your computer technology, Grammarly or Gingersoft. Both are subscription services, but they have some free services that you can use. Grammarly or Gingersoft. Go to the website, download the app. You can use it inside of Microsoft Word. This will save you a heap of time. Use them as tools, but don't depend on them, because they're using grammar checking out of context. They're checking each sentence, and the grammar may not be correct if they're only checking sentence by sentence. Usually, to really have correct grammar, you have to look at the whole paragraph and understand the entire meaning. And computers haven't gotten that smart yet. So there you have it, how to write with power. P, purpose. O, outline. W, write. E, edit. And R, revise. When you do this quickly, which you will after a few times, you will finish very quickly, and your writing will be more polished, more professional, and powerful. Well, there you have it, my lessons in writing with power. Lessons from Gertrude Tratt, probably the best English writing teacher anyone could ever have. I just want to give you a few more tips. Some of you are struggling and thinking your vocabulary is not good enough for writing. That's not true. The key to vocabulary in writing is not knowing a lot of words. The key to writing is knowing how to use the words correctly. So if you have a small vocabulary but can use them correctly, you're a better writer. If you have a big vocabulary but you can't use them properly, it's no use. Second thing, tenses. Everyone gets stressed out and they go, oh, I don't know which tense to use. Miss Tratt taught us something very, very simple. Stick to two tenses. Present simple, past simple. 90% of your writing can be done with past simple, present simple tense. The reason we like to use the other 10 tenses is, hey, I learned them in school, I guess I should use them. Not true. If you really want to be a good writer, stick to those two tenses. Use the same tense in each paragraph. If you write one paragraph, past simple, it's all in past simple. If you write one paragraph in present simple, it's all in present simple. Keep it simple. So those are two more tips I can give you to really improve your writing. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and get all the tips that you need to really get an English breakthrough. So see you in the next session. Bye for now.